First of all, it's a great day to be a Razorback. It's great to be back out on the field. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you coming out today. Hope you enjoyed your day. Opportunity to stay out there as long as you wanted to today, and hopefully got a chance to see kind of the inner workings behind an entire practice. I thought our energy level was the best it's been all spring, and we've had some really good energy days. And started off strong and remained strong for the majority of our practices. So I was really excited to see that. It was really good to see the guys excited to be back out on the field. It's been a while since we've been out on that practice field, taking spring break, but those guys got out there. They got after it. We did a few things a little bit different. We did a lot of emphasis work today, which was scripted in some hard looks on both sides of the ball. So it was great to see to see both sides of the ball be strained in some different areas, and that'll continue that way for the next few practices. The way we'll do that. I thought Mike Woods. Mike Woods and Austin Capps were not out there today. Obviously, Mike was. He'll be in yellow. He's done for the rest of spring. He had surgery on his wrist. He'll be back in early summer. I expect him back. Austin Capps has the flu. But I thought overall today there's some things that stand out. I thought offensively we did some really good things in the times that we had what we call the open field, where nobody was scripting for any emphasis. It was just kind of wide open base calls. First down, play second down. I'm excited to see that. Ben Hicks is really coming on, doing some good things. John Stevens doing some good things. It was good to see Dalton Hyatt back out there today after breaking his index finger, his pinky finger. So it was good to have him back out, throwing the ball around a little bit today. There's some good things. We moved Myron Cunningham, got some work inside today. We've been really pleasantly surprised with Myron and excited about him. He's going to be a great addition to this football team, and he's definitely creating depth, and he's pushing guys, and it's really showing. Watching Colton Jackson play right now, Dalton Wagner's really doing some really good things. So I'm excited where our offensive line is going. We're a long way away. It's tough to block Sosa. Sosa has been disruptive all spring, one thing we ask of him is his consistency. Can he continue to be this way and continue to play with the technique and the pad level that we're asking? So overall, I was pleased to get back out on the field, pleased with today's practice, and just excited to see the energy level and this football team continue to grow. So with that, I'll open up.
Is that more of a long-term deal with Myron? You plan to look at him there for a while, and also how does Ryan Winkle look at?
Ryan is growing as you would expect as a redshirt freshman. He's got his ups and downs, but really excited about him. He's had a good spring. He was sick early on for a couple of days in spring, but to get him back, so he'll keep growing. He's at right guard right now, and so we're just kind of moving some guys around and letting him get some work. But as far as a long-term plan for Myron, he's getting into our top 5, and we got to find a place to put him on the field. I mean, he's got a chance to be a really special player. We're really pleased with him. So we'll see. We're going to keep working him. He looks really good at tackle, but he's really pushed Colton Jackson, and Colton's having as good a spring as that he's had. So that's great. That's what we're trying to find is his best fit for his football team inside, and that was kind of what today and the next few practices will be about.
Coach, do you feel like the wide receivers have developed a consistency and chemistry so far with Hicks and the other guys?
I do. I think we've gotten better. I think a lot of the technique, the fundamentals of being a good wide receiver and what it takes is something that we've continues to stress. We haven't added a lot on these guys, but just the small, intricate details, just from catching the football at the top of your route and drop, step, and go. Things like that, I think they've gotten better. I'm excited. I know Coach Stepp is excited about the leadership in the room. It's disappointing that Mike Woods is not going to be able to. He needed spring. He really needed this. He was having an outstanding spring. Trey Knox continues to be really a pleasant addition to our football team. made some really good plays today out there. Again, he's got to learn to play when he gets tired, but that usually happens with a lot of the young guys. So we're getting there.
Chad, Ben was up here saying that you're still kind of looking for an offensive identity, and then when you get that, it feels like y'all want to kind of break it open. What are your thoughts about that? What you want the identity to be?
Well, I mean, we want to be good at what we do, and it's not about how much we do; it's about how well we do it. And it's, you know, for that specifically, and been heavily involved in that. I'm heavily involved in the fact that this is how we're going to look, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is how we've got to get good at the different things. And so, part of that is because of and causing us to do our practices over the next 4 or 5 practices like we did today. A lot of just, I want to see what we do against some bad looks. You can't call a perfect play every time. It's not going to happen. And so scripting for emphasis, you may get a tackle for loss. You may get a sack on it, but at least it's a great teaching moment right now to teach these guys. And if this call is called into this look, this is how it should have been handled. So before we continue to add, we're going to get good at what we do. And obviously, you know, we're an inside zone team. We run a power counter just like every other team in the country does. But we've got to be able to block it against the different looks and different movements. And we've got to understand what the answers are. And lower base passing game against the coverages that we see in this league.
Yeah, Coach, Ben came in here and said that Sosa's kind of looked like a man among boys at times. He's been really disruptive. What stood out about his spring to you?
Well, I think he has accepted the buy-in of moving inside and understands that if he could continue to focus every day on just his technique and his fundamentals, that he could be as good as there are in our league. But it's about being consistent, and that's been my challenge to him: is how consistent can you be? And I know that's Coach Chavis's and Coach Ingram's challenge to him: is how can you play consistently? Anybody can go out there and play a little bit, but can you consistently play at the high level that you tell us you want to be at? And so that's the challenge. But I will give him credit, as I mentioned earlier, and in my opening comments, he's done a phenomenal job. And now we need him to continue to be the leader of that unit and be one of the leaders of this football team, like he wants to be.
Coach, I think I remember saying this right, but tight end you called the second most difficult position to learn on offense. Now that these guys have a year under their belt, CJ and all those guys are back, where are they in terms of, you know, just the rhythm and all that stuff? And also with Hudson, when he comes in, how do you see him dropping in since it is difficult?
Yeah, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that we targeted the tight end more than any team in the country this past year. I mean, we were one of the top teams, if not one of the top teams, in targets for tight ends. So the role that they have on this football team it allows us to play fast, allows us to be a part of the run game, and obviously our passing game. And I think that we've continued to challenge these guys. It's good to see Grayson Gunner back after a toe injury. He's still not full speed. He's much like Mike Woods needed spring. And his 3 practices he was having, he was doing really well. So hopefully get him back to finish this thing up. Blake Kern, a walk-on, has continued to impress us as a true on-the-line tight end, a blocking force, very physical. I'm very pleased with Blake. Obviously, CJ, we know what CJ is capable of doing. CJ, much like Sosa, the challenge is consistency. Can you be a consistent football player? You come in here and tell me you want to be an all-SEC football player, but can you practice like it? Can you be it? Can you consistently, day in and day out, prepare yourself to be that? And because this position on this football team will allow that to happen if you can prepare yourself for that. I do expect Hudson to come in here and contribute quickly. I do. I think we've got a good mix. I really like the room. Moving Chase to tight end has been it's amazing when you move guys. Sometimes guys move positions, and to see him and the success he's had this spring. He's had as good a spring as anybody as well. So I know Coach Lundy's very proud, very excited about Chase. So he's gained some weight, looks good, and he runs good routes, and so he just looks like, and I tell him all the time when I see him, I said, you look like you're at home now. And so, again, I think we're on par, but I expect Hudson to come in and contribute.
Is Jack Lindsay somebody capable of doing maybe even more than holding as far as?
Yeah, he is.
Quarterback?
He's as smart a quarterback as we got. He understands the offense. He's truly a coach out there on the field for these guys, and has done a good job. Got quite a few reps this spring as well. So I feel very comfortable with Jack.
Coach Capps missed today, but how has he done, and do you expect him to be back later this week, or?
Yeah, we hope to have him back for Thursday. We got 3 practices left this week: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I expect him back. He has a flu. He's done a good job. He's again kind of that second year, the buy-in of understanding the position and moving inside and or moving into that offensive line. A year ago he was willing to do it because that was what's best for the team, but it takes some time. He understands coming into spring this year and into the fall that this is his position, and so he's taken a lot of pride in it, in his meetings and the notes he takes, and obviously is working really hard on the field. So I'm pleased with Austin.
The scripting for tough looks, is that traditionally something you've done, or is that something that, based on what happened last season, that you wanted to change?
A lot of it is based on last season. We have done it. We haven't done it as much as we did today, as far as the number of periods today that we did. We did it in both Skelly and in team settings. But talking to the coaches, that was something that we felt like we've got to do that. We've got to give a good look on both sides of the ball. It's one thing to line up a scout group or your second defense to be an offense for you, and let your number 1 defense go against that during a team separate period. You're not going to get a whole lot of good out of it outside of just alignment. And so that's why we did a lot of crossover work today, and we'll on Thursday as well.
Coach, Justice Hill, was he out there? I didn't see him. Does he plan to be here?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't know.
Ben was saying that the defense has got to blitz a whole lot, which created adversity in some situations. How much harness do you put on Chief? How do you handle that?
Well, I think we talk all the time, both sides of the ball, constant communication, and a lot of it today was scripted. We wanted to see a lot of pressures, and the pressures that they've been bringing, and be able to prepare and try to pick those up. So it's all a part of the plan. As you install, you always cross over and work with each side of the ball. And hey, this is the pressure going in today. These are the formations going in. And Chief is just like Joe offensively. Is that we're very limited right now in what we're doing. We want to get good fundamentally in what we do.
This is a little late, but what is the message that you sent to those guys when they went off to spring break? What are you leaving with? And then when you guys reconvene on Sunday, what's the first thing you said to them?
Well, first thing I wanted to share with them as we left for spring break is, obviously take care of business. Understand what the standard is here. Understand what our culture is, and understand that you represent the University of Arkansas, Razorback football, past, present, and future, 24/7. And actions of a few impact many. I say it all the time. And whatever decision you make impacts a lot of people outside of you. So make good decisions. And they did. I was very proud of them. I commended them when they came back Sunday. And Sunday was a day that we kind of went back and kind of looked a little bit in the rearview mirror, just a little bit. And we've kind of been a few months removed from the season, and kind of gone through spring ball. But we focused a little bit on, hey, let me remind you of what we were, and let me remind you that this is who we are as a football team, and this is what our culture is, and this has been established, and this isn't going to change. And we've got a lot of work to do. And what I expected to, what I was excited is what I saw today after meeting with those guys Sunday. Because I challenged them that, hey, look, we come out there Tuesday. We got 8 practices to get this football team ready for the summer. Not ready for the fall, for the summer. We've got a long way to go for the fall. We got to get this football team ready to go. And I wanted to see it today, and so they have. So I'm very pleased with that. And again, I think it's second year, your culture's in place, they understand what we're gonna allow, and they're responding, and I'm very proud of them.
Leaders for this team, what do you see?
Well, you know, I wish Scooter could go through spring. We know what he can do as a player, but he's a phenomenal, he's the leader of the football team. There's no getting around that. I mean, he's one of the top leaders. We've challenged Sosa, we've challenged him to be a leader in a positive way, and continue to push on that. But you know, as you look at Scooter, it's you know, he's one of the guys that we really strongly look at. You know, when you look offensively, I think Rakeem Boyd's eventually going to be a leader. Again, I wish he could go through spring, but guys listen to him. So, you know, there's a few. We're going to narrow that leadership down. We've got a spring Hogs committee, which is some of our leaders at each classification. But, you know, and then let those guys kind of run it, see how we go.
Is Sosa part of that, or is he working his way towards
I
that?
think he is part of it. He's part of our Hawks Spring Committee, and you know, he'll continue to keep doing what he's doing out on the practice field, and he earns a lot of respect from guys.
Any more? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.